contact sports is only permissible so long as the teams agree to the list of guidelines in the order.
Here it is.
Such things as
The news
testing
about the
players,
coronavirus.
athletic trainers, sports staff.
That's right.
Before
The news
travel,
about the coronavirus.
and during. We're going to during the tenure of the stay. Daily symptom assessment. Athletic trainers wearing masks and coverings while attending to players, coaches, and officials are strongly recommended to wear face coverings when possible. Strict social distancing by players who are not actively engaged in the competition. Immediate isolation and medical care for a participant who develops symptoms. These restrictions are required for any of these types of things to happen. The coronavirus.ohio.gov website will have these restrictions. The reason it's important to notice is today because we've had several questions about different types of activities and do they qualify. The things that qualify are very limited. This is temporary. It ends on July the 15th. We hope to use this to inform our future decisions as it relates to return to play. This is temporary, will be evaluated.
Here it is.
Once we have more information.
The news about the
as this goes through
coronavirus.
July the 15th.
That's right.
Additionally, we're
The
starting
news
a
about
new
the
campaign
coronavirus.
today. I Want a Season campaign, and let me explain. I know that we all love sports. I love sports for the recreation and the physical fitness and health aspect that sporting activities provide, not to mention the life skills of teaching, particularly our young people, teamwork and discipline and the competitiveness and the grit and the resilience and all the things that we learn from these types of competitions. And over the past few weeks, we have seen a steady drop, as the governor alluded to earlier, in the age of people contracting coronavirus. More younger people are becoming infected at a higher rate. I want to go over again the statistics that the governor covered earlier. In July, in our limited data that we have in July, 26.4% of the cases are people the ages between 20 and 29, 13.2% between the ages of 0 and 19. That's nearly 40% of all the cases for people under the age of 30. And when we're talking about sports and competition, the two go hand in hand. Those are the age groups that in most cases we're talking about. Can I give a potential reason for this? Of course I can. If you're healthy and you exercise and you feel like you're invincible. You feel I at that age would have probably had the same attitude. But there are a lot of reasons. That you need to care about the spread of coronavirus, and particularly as it relates to our athletes who are competing in sports, because you certainly have parents or grandparents or classmates who could be in a higher risk category, and you may not be worried about yourself as much, but you ought to be worried about them. Additionally, we have a couple more reasons. We all want to resume things that feel more like our normal lives. And playing sports is certainly one of them. But we have an opponent that we have to defeat all along the way, and that's the coronavirus, and particularly the spread of the coronavirus. And just think about the fact that, if you get it, you're going to be sidelined. You're going to potentially cause your teammates to be sidelined. If you're in a sport that I love, like football, if you could be sidelined for weeks, that's going to cost you a lot of your season. And so if we want to all get back on the track or on the field or on the court, then all
Here it is.
Particularly our athletes.
The news about the coronavirus.
To help us slow the spread.
That's
and so we're
right.
launching the hashtag
The
I Want a
news
Season
about the
campaign
coronavirus.
today. We've been talking with a lot of professional, college, high school sports teams and athletes about helping to share this via social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, to tell your friends that we're all in this together, that you're wearing a mask and practicing social distancing and washing your hands because you want to have a season. And I know that we have a video that we're going to be posting out there that will be at lg.ohio.gov /I Want to Have a Season. giving you all kinds of details about how athletes can get involved in sharing the word of how they're in it together, in protecting your teammates, in protecting you. You are putting yourself in a better place to have a season, to do the things that you love, by making sure that you're slowing the spread of the coronavirus. And so as we talk to young people, how to make it relevant in your life. Well, if you're an athlete, this is super relevant in your life because it depends on your ability to participate, your teammates' ability to participate. It's about what teamwork is all about, looking out for each other and helping each other through this on your way to victory. And not only do you want to defeat the team across the field, you all collectively want to defeat the coronavirus and restore many of those things that we enjoy in our lives.
What happened?
So, Governor, thank you.
Senator,
okay.
we're ready for questions.
Good afternoon, Governor. Ben Schwartz with WCPO in Cincinnati. My question is really just, if these mask orders in those 7 counties do not help bring down coronavirus cases, is there any chance that we see those places or others move back into a stay-at-home order or something along those lines?
I had an interesting conversation, Ben, with, actually John and I both did, with some folks who own restaurants and bars. And one person on the call said it pretty eloquently, and that is that if people are scared, they're not going to come out and eat anyway. So I think the biggest threat to us from an economic point of view is this virus continuing to go up. And that is going to make it very difficult for us to move forward economically. So these two are tied very, very closely together. We thought that this was a surgical, precise approach to go in those counties where that are red hot, frankly, where we have real problems going on, and impose wearing the mask, wearing it in public, wearing it for other people, and we hope that that's going to have a big impact. In the other counties that are yellow or orange, we would just urge people to do that as well. We're not going to order it, but we're want them to do it. One of the things that we have learned is the earlier that we do things, the more impact that we have. And so there's a real opportunity in these other counties to avoid getting to the red level. And with all the things that go with that and the danger that goes with it. When you get to the red level, things are moving pretty fast. And so if we can go in and people wear masks, keep their distance in the other counties, and go in there, as we're upping the testing, continue to have additional testing, what we hope is that other counties don't move into the red, and we hope that the red are able to at some point drop back down to a different level. So we'll cross these other bridges when we come to them, but this is I think the most appropriate action for us to take at this time. We're seeing a serious situation. We have to take action.
Into that from that call yesterday, and I have this a lot with businesses who are just saying, look, we want you to do the things, use every tool in the toolbox to allow us to stay open so that we can have customers, that people will come in and want to do business, because we understand the balance between the health and economic consequences, and we want people to have jobs. We want to grow the economy. We have to do two things at once. We've been saying this all along, and the strategies that we've been employing are designed to help people do that.
Hello, Governor. This is Laura Hancock from Cleveland.com. I was just curious, with today's health order, did Dr. Acton help you come up with the idea, what is her kind of interaction with you? What is the extent of her influence? How often do you talk to her? That kind of thing.
Talked to her this morning. Talked to her virtually every day. She remains a major advisor. We gathered information and recommendations from a lot of people, but she remains a significant advisor in this administration. I'm glad she is.
Hello, Governor. This is Luis Gill with Ohio Latino TV. Governors, as the virus continues to increase in Ohio, and perhaps that more testing is done is affecting that, but also there's a lot of people traveling airplanes through the state of Ohio from Florida. Is that perhaps affecting the, for I hear the planes are full sometimes. Is that affecting the increase in the state of Ohio?
Well, it's a good question. It's hard to really exactly determine what impact that has. But as someone said to me the other day, it's not always where someone goes, it's what they do when they go there. And so, if someone is coming back from Florida and they've been out, at bars and restaurants every night, I would be very, very concerned about them. And I think they should be concerned. If they went to Florida and, stayed in a house, stayed in their hotel room and just went to the beach, stayed away from people, enjoyed the sun, they're in a different situation. So I think a lot depends on, the situation that they're in. But I would just advise Ohioans, it's probably not the best time to go to some of these hot spots. We have spread in Ohio. We're not denying that. We have a serious situation in Ohio. But, there's some other states that are red hot, and you might want to think twice about going to those states. But again, the most important thing is what you do there or what you don't do there. It's no different than anything else. It comes down to, just exercising caution and good common sense.
This is Jackie Borchert from the Cincinnati Enquirer. Lieutenant Governor, you mentioned that the businesses will not be enforcing this, but local officials will. How will this be enforced? What is the penalty for not wearing a mask in one of these spaces?
Beginning the part of the question, this is similar to other health orders. It is a misdemeanor. Look, we're not looking to see people, a lot of people arrested. That's not the idea at all. The idea is that this is the norm. This is what is needed for Ohioans to stay safe. And if we are not able to successfully do this and carry this out, we're going to see this virus take command again. And that is not a situation that we would want. So working with the local mayors, working with the local officials, we think that this is certainly going to help. In addition to having conversations with the 7 health commissioners, as I said, I talked to a number of mayors. I won't speak for them. I never do that. But what this enables us to do is, for example, in a city, in an urban county, where maybe the major city has already put on a mask order, this enables us to fill out the rest of that county, because these are really economic units as counties, and it's kind of hard to say that you do one thing on one side of this line and then you cross the street and you're out of the city and now you're into the county or you're into a neighboring city or village, and that changes. So it makes sense to approach these by county, just as it makes sense to try to distinguish between counties. When we have counties that are in a very, very low level, it makes sense for us to treat them differently than we're treating the ones that are red. So that's what we're doing. But the law is a teacher. The law can help us determine the norms of society, and that's what we're hoping this does in those 7 counties.
Jackie, I can add, make sure that you understand what my goal of that comment was, is that we get calls from businesses who say, okay, I'm a grocery store, do I have to enforce this? And while we want businesses to post the signs and tell people that they have masks, but if you're a grocery store worker and you may just want to inform the customer that they have to wear a mask because it's required. We don't expect, though, the grocery store worker to physically have to impose the order. They would turn that over in the case where there was an extreme violation to the local community to enforce it. It's not up to the business to enforce it. That was the question that we were getting asked. We want the business to be cooperative. We want businesses to advise. We want businesses to share the rules, but we don't physically expect a grocery store clerk to enforce these rules.
Hello, Governor Jim Province with the Toledo Blade. We're now a week into the new fiscal year. Do you plan to turn to the rainy day fund now to help close any revenue gaps, given that lawmakers have now gone home for the summer without approving any budget cuts? And what have you seen in the latest numbers?
Well, we pretty much put out what we've seen in the latest numbers. You know, not as bad as we thought it might have been, but certainly not good. I've said all along that in this fiscal year we will use a significant amount of the rainy day fund. So no one should think that we are not going to use that. You know, our goal has been, for example, in regard to education, not to cut education. Our goal has been to keep the funding that we ended up last year after we made the 3.7 cut, to keep that as a baseline. And what I wanted to do is make sure that schools knew, you know, what was coming. So we're moving forward. But in answer to your question, we're certainly going to use a lot of the rainy day fund. And by the time we get completely through this, I'm sure we will use all the rainy day fund. And I'm thankful we have it.
Hi, Governor. This is Farnisha Mary from the Associated Press. Franklin County announced last week a similar mask mandate, and Mayor Ginther said that he will not be enforcing it and local authorities will not be enforcing it, but there is a mandate. How do you plan to deal with different counties deciding to enforce this in their own way, and how will this interfere with the mandate that you are enforcing today?
Look, we've talked with the mayor. I approve what the mayor has done. I think that was leadership. Appreciated it. Again, I think we all have the same goal, and the goal is to signal. And Eric, can you put the map up? We'll just leave that map up. I'm going to keep referring to it, I think. But look, the point is to signal that we have a problem. We have a real problem here. We have a problem here, here, and here. And part of it is to let people know that there's a problem. From the first press conference that we had, when Dr. Acton and I had a press conference in Cleveland, we said our obligation, to much as we can, is to share information with the people of the state of Ohio. So this is our new effort to do that. Putting on a order requiring people to wear a mask in those 7 red counties should be a real signal that when we look at this data, we have a great deal to worry about. And so that message, I think, is important that we get out. We're sending that message again today. I think what the cities and some of the other communities have done with their own mask order on is great. I felt it would be more effective, frankly, in those counties that already started that with one of their cities, if we filled in the rest of the county. But we have 7 separate counties with a significant number of people in the state of Ohio who we feel have a huge, imminent crisis. And this is the most pinpointed thing we can do. And I'll come back to what we've said before. If 75 or 80% of the people in the state of Ohio would wear a mask when they're out, we will dramatically kick this virus in the stomach. We'll get it a good swat if we can do that. That plus the testing that we're going to continue to ramp up. These are the 2 real tools that we have. Distancing, wear a mask, wash your hands, test. Those are the things that we have to continue to do every single day.
Governor,
Governor, this is Shane Stegmiller with Hannah News Service. Yesterday, the legislature, or recently, the legislature is going to send you Senate Bill 55, which, among other provisions, is going to decriminalize failure to follow health orders. You have indicated that you probably will veto that. Yesterday, Speaker Householder said on a social media post that a veto would be a very bad move for anyone who believes that the people control their government, not the other way around. And I just kind of want to get your reactions to that and what your plans are still for the bill.
It would be a tragic mistake, and I'm not going to let it happen. For us to give up the opportunity to try to keep Ohioans safe. We are in a crisis. It is a very serious crisis. It's a crisis that we've not seen in the States for 102 years. I hope we don't see it for another 102 years. We never see a crisis like this again. We have to treat it like the crisis it is. And having the ability, the tools, to very carefully do things that need to be done is an essential part of that. Ohio is not alone. If you look at what other states are facing, what other states are doing, governors who certainly gave every indication they would never require masks to be worn are requiring masks to be worn. And they're doing it because they're looking at the data. They're doing it because, frankly, they're afraid. And they're justifiably afraid of what is going on. So, look, we're not looking to lock a lot of Ohioans up. That is not what we're about. But we have to have the ability to enforce orders. If you don't have the ability to enforce an order, it just simply does not work. What is at stake here is the lives of Ohioans. This is a matter of life and death. What's going on in our red counties, where we'll put on this order at 6 o'clock tomorrow night, people in public have to wear masks. What's going on in these counties is very frightening. It should frighten the people of those counties. But the good news is we can fight back. There is something that we can do. And by wearing masks, by keeping social distancing, by all of us working together to get more testing, we fight back. And we're Ohioans. We're going to continue to fight.
Good afternoon, Governor. Adrienne Robbins with NBC4. This week, a list of businesses who received help from the PPE program was released. DeWine Seed Silver Dollar Baseball was obviously one of those businesses. What do you say to people who are criticizing lawmakers like yourself for taking part in this program meant for small businesses?
Well, I think if you talk to our son, Brian, who runs the Asheville Tourist Baseball team, which is the team you're talking about and the business you're talking about, he would tell you he is a small business. I think they have probably 12, 14 full-time employees. The money that they took advantage of, as many other small businesses did, primarily went to payroll. So it went to people who work there so that they can continue to have some income during that period of time. I am one of 9 owners. Our family owns the team. Fran and I own part of it, and the other 7 kids own the rest of it. So that's what the story is. And look, we understand what small businesses are going through. There's no, if you run a minor league baseball team, I'm not asking for anybody to feel sorry for us, but if you run a minor league baseball team, we got 6 of them in Ohio, actually 7. And there's no season for our minor league baseball teams in Ohio. So they've had a tough time, and I'm sure that they probably took advantage of that as well. And I certainly hope that they did, and look forward to we hope seeing minor league baseball as well as Major League Baseball back next year.
Thank you.
Hi, Governor. It's Karen Kassler from Ohio Public Radio and Television. You mentioned the Ohio National Guard being available for pop testing in the 7 hotspot counties. Do you have any plans to find funding to continue the National Guard's pandemic-related missions past when federal funding runs out on August 7th, including testing in nursing homes and that pop-up testing, especially since there are so many restrictions on retailers' COVID testing and so few locations and times available?
Yeah, it's hard for me to imagine, candidly, us being able to fight this without the National Guard. So we'll make that decision when we get to it. We hope that the federal government will extend that mission. If they don't, we'll have to talk about it. But the Guard has done a phenomenal job. I'll bring in, the General gave me the statistics this morning of how many people in nursing homes they have tested and how many staff in nursing homes they've tested. That's a phenomenal number. They're out testing today. So this is a tool that we really need. We have 20 units. What our goal is, 20 Guard units, I think about 10 are in each unit, and they are out testing every single day. And so what our goal is to turn this testing over really to the folks in the nursing homes. Once we get through the testing all of the employees at first round and many of the residents, then on the second rounds from then on, we're going to work it out so the testing is going to be done in those nursing homes on a regular basis. So we're going to free the Guard up then, because frankly there's a lot of other places that the Guard needs to go as well. So they're very much wanted.
Good afternoon, Governor. Karen Johnson, WLWT in Cincinnati. Question regarding the short-term order on now allowing contact sports. It only lasts a week and a day. So how is any team expected to schedule and play games that quickly? And also, what about athletes in the red counties such as Butler and Hamilton? Will they be required to wear masks when they play?
No, they would not be required to wear masks. You'll see in the exception, there's an exception in there in regard to that. I'll let John answer the rest of it, but let me just say that this is an evolving situation. And I know that people get anxious, and understandably so, and say, why don't we know what's going on? Where are we going to be in a couple weeks? This is an evolving situation. It's changing daily. And what we're trying to do is keep everybody informed about what we are seeing. If people, look, we all want the same things. We want our kids and our grandkids playing ball. We want them in track. We want them in cross country. We want our schools back. We want our kids back in school physically. All of these things that we all want so much depend on what we do in the next few weeks. So when I'm asked the question, we're going to see football on Friday night in Ohio, a lot of it depends on, do we get this virus, do we wrestle this virus to the ground? And the only way we can do that, frankly, is distancing, wearing masks in public, wearing masks in business, wash your hands, and for us to continue that in testing and continue to move those numbers of tests. We've made great progress in testing. We were at probably 9,000 a few weeks ago. We're at about 18,000 average now, and we're going to continue to push up through that ceiling and move forward. So I'm optimistic, but look, it's how well we fight this in the next few weeks is going to determine what our fall looks like and what our winter looks like. John?
Just to clear up a little bit on this largely focuses on camps that were already scheduled and to accommodate the ESPN basketball tournament that's going to be happening here soon. It's basically a 1 week window